It began with silence, the kind that hangs in the air like mist after rain. The kind that feels louder than sound itself. For months, the two names that once defined love for an entire nation, Hyun and Son Ye-jin, had vanished from headlines. The couple that had once been untouchable, unshakable, and achingly perfect in the eyes of millions was now wrapped in rumor and uncertainty. No one could point to a single moment when things began to shift. It started quietly, fewer public appearances, no shared endorsements, an empty seat at an award show where they were expected to appear together. Then, one night, eagle-eyed fans noticed that Son Ye-jin had archived several old photos on her Instagram, photos that had once captured them laughing, holding hands, smiling like the world had finally given them peace. The next morning, gossip sites erupted like a storm breaking over calm water. Trouble in Paradise, one headline read. Son Ye-jin deletes photos of Hyun, fans panic. YouTube channels devoted to celebrity analysis began running slow-motion breakdowns of the couple's last red carpet appearance. One commentator pointed out how Hyun's smile looked slightly tired. Another claimed Son Ye-jin seemed distant, withdrawn. It didn't matter that none of it was confirmed. The digital age. Silence breeds imagination, and imagination can destroy faster than truth can repair. Within a week, rumors spread beyond Korea. International tabloids picked up the scent, Korea's golden couple on the brink. Fans began mourning a relationship that had not even been declared broken. They were our fairy tale. One user wrote on Twitter. If they can't make it, who can? Others defended them fiercely, insisting that privacy didn't mean distance. They don't owe us proof of love, a fan countered. But the noise only grew. The silence became unbearable. Then, just as the whispers reached their loudest, Hyun disappeared. He canceled a commercial shoot. A scheduled magazine interview was postponed due to scheduling conflicts. The actor who once charmed entire continents seemed to vanish overnight. No public sightings. No social media posts. Not even a casual fan photo. Only silence, a vast, echoing absence. A staff member from one of his previous film sets spoke anonymously to a tabloid. He looked tired lately, the source said. He wasn't his usual self. You could feel something was wrong. That single quote set the internet ablaze. Theories grew like wildfire, from exhaustion to separation to secret illness. Meanwhile, Son Ye-jin continued with her work. She attended a film festival in Busan, standing beneath the glittering lights. Every bit the picture of grace. But her smile didn't reach her eyes. And that was enough for the public to write its own story. She looks strong, one fan wrote. But she looks like she's pretending to be strong. In cafes and subways, people whispered. In newsrooms, editors debated whether to chase the story or respect the silence. And somewhere, in a quiet apartment overlooking the Han River, Hyun was said to be alone. The breaking point came one Sunday morning. A gossip site uploaded a grainy photo of moving trucks parked outside the couple's Hanam-dong home. The headline screamed, Hyun moves out, within hours. The rumor became gospel. News channels replayed the same blurry image endlessly, while fans across the world refreshed their feeds in disbelief. The agencies for both actors issued a denial within the day. There is no truth to the rumor. The joint statement read. The couple remains private and continues to support one another. But it was too late. The damage had been done. No one believed denials anymore. For 3 months, the silence deepened. Each day without a photo or sighting became proof of heartbreak in the public's eyes. Hyun's fans trended hashtags begging him to speak. Son Ye-jin's followers flooded her comments with heart emojis and prayers. Every gesture, every glance. Wordless public appearance was dissected into meaning. Then, one rainy afternoon, Son Ye-jin was spotted walking alone through a park in Gangnam, wearing a plain coat and baseball cap. Someone noticed her hand, bare, without her wedding ring. The photo hit the internet like a match dropped in dry grass. She took it off. It's over. She's done pretending. Seemed like the end of something too perfect to last. The fairy tale couple who had survived fame, gossip, and even the cruel weight of expectation, now ghosts to each other. But the story wasn't finished. 2 weeks later, an unexpected press conference was announced at Seoul Art Hall. The invitation was sent under Hyun's name. But the subject line was vague, project update. No one knew what project it was. No one cared. The seats were filled long before he arrived. Hyun Bin finally appeared. The air in the room shifted. He looked thinner. Older, not in the way of time. In the way of people who have been carrying invisible burdens. Cameras flashed. Reporters shouted questions. But he raised a hand gently and smiled, a small, tired smile that silenced the room. Thanked everyone for coming, then paused. The pause was long, deliberate. He scanned the crowd. Eyes calm but heavy, and said softly, "I know there have been many things said about me, about us." The word us hung in the air like a fragile thread. Camera zoomed in. Every journalist froze mid-note. "I think people forget," he continued. "That silence doesn't always mean the end." Murmurs rippled through the audience. The journalists looked at one another, confused, cautious. One reporter dared to ask, "Then, what does it mean?" Hyun Bin looked down for a moment, as if choosing each word carefully. Then, without theatrics, he said, "It means I was learning how to protect someone the right way." The room exploded, flashes, gasps, shouted questions. But he didn't flinch. He simply bowed once. Gesture of gratitude and closure all at once. "That's all I can say for now," he added. "But I'll tell you everything, when the time feels right." He turned and walked off stage before anyone could stop him. The footage had every news outlet within minutes. The internet went viral. What did he mean? Was it an apology? A promise? A confession? Did protect mean love or loss? For the first time in months, Hyun Bin and Son Ye-jin's names were spoken not with pity, but awe, as though the nation had been holding its breath and was finally allowed to exhale. That night, Seoul glowed under steady rain. Streets shimmered with reflections of neon headlines repeating his words in endless loops. Silence doesn't always mean the end. Learning how to protect someone the right way. In cafes, on buses, on late-night radio, people whispered the same question. What did he really mean? And though no one could answer, everyone felt the same thing, that something sacred had just been said aloud. And that the story of Hyun Bin and Son Ye-jin was far from over. The day after the press conference, the city was alive with speculation. Every talk show, every headline, every YouTube thumbnail carried Hyun Bin's words like scripture. Silence doesn't always mean the end. What had he meant? Was it closure? Or a beginning disguised as restraint? The line blurred between news and poetry. Even those who had never cared about celebrity gossip found themselves talking about it over morning coffee. In Hanam-dong, reporters waited outside Son Ye-jin's apartment building. Cameras trained on every window. She did not appear. Not that morning. Not that week. Instead, she vanished the way Hyun Bin once had, quietly, as if following him into that same stillness. But unlike before, this silence felt different. It wasn't empty. It was expectant. 3 weeks later, the answer came. The network KBC announced that Hyun Bin would appear on Human Moments, a small late-night program known for its soft lighting and intimate questions, not the kind of show for movie stars of his scale. When the teaser aired, showing only a dim shot of him sitting in silence across from the host, ratings for the episode were already guaranteed to break records. That Friday night, all of Korea watched. The program opened without fanfare. No background music, no applause. Just the camera closing in on Hyun Bin's face. But faintly worn. His hands folded on his lap. The host, Lee Jun-ho, began carefully. "You said something at your press conference that moved the nation. You said you were learning to protect someone the right way. Everyone wants to know what that means. Are you ready to tell them?" A faint smile ghosted across Hyun Bin's lips. "Maybe that's why I'm here," he said. Back, glancing toward the ceiling before speaking again. "I made mistakes. I thought being strong meant staying silent, handling everything alone. But sometimes, in protecting someone, you end up shutting them out." Realize that until too late. The audience behind the cameras sat motionless. The host didn't interrupt. "I heard her," Hyun Bin continued. "Not because I wanted to. I thought I was doing what was best. But love doesn't need to be managed. It needs to be shared. And for a while, I forgot how to do that." The host hesitated, then asked the question everyone wanted answered. "Are you talking about Son Ye-jin?" He met the host's eyes. "Yes." A soft exhale rippled through the studio, an invisible audience taking in the confirmation they had waited months for. Hyun Bin looked down at his hands. "During those months of rumors, I stayed silent. People thought it meant I didn't care. or that it was over. But silence was the only way I knew to keep something real in a world that wanted to turn it into entertainment. He paused, his voice almost a whisper now. One night, I wrote her a letter. I never sent it. It just said, "If you ever think I stopped loving you, you're wrong. I'm just learning to love you quietly." The host didn't speak. The cameras stayed fixed on Hyun, his eyes reflecting the light glass about to break. Somewhere in the control room, a producer wiped her eyes. By the next morning, the line was everywhere, printed on t-shirts, quoted in news headlines, trending worldwide, "Learning to love quietly." People replayed the moment over and over, watching the pause between his breaths as if searching for truth in the spaces between words. That afternoon, Sun Ye-jin broke her silence. On Instagram, she posted a simple photo of a sunrise over the Han River. The caption was only 6 words, some words heal without sound. It was all she needed to say. Within an hour, the comment section was flooded, tears, heart emojis, and the single phrase repeated endlessly, "They're okay." For the first time in months, the public didn't want details. They just wanted peace for them both. Weeks later, Hyun and Sun Ye-jin were seen together again, not at a red carpet or a press event, but at a small private screening for a mutual friend's film in Itaewon. They arrived separately but left together. The paparazzi who caught the photo described it simply, "He waited for her at the door. When she came out, he smiled like someone seeing spring after winter." The photo went viral instantly, not because it was scandalous, but because it was gentle. It showed 2 people not performing, not posing, existing side by side again. From that moment, everything changed. Talk shows dissected not the drama, dignity of their silence. Editors called it masterclass and restrained. A columnist for the Korea Times wrote, "They reminded us that love, when real, doesn't need to scream to be heard." Social media shifted from speculation to celebration. The narrative that had once painted them as broken now crowned them as survivors. Hyunbin's agency later revealed that he had turned down all major media offers after the interview. He said what he needed to say. A representative explained, "He didn't want to profit from it. He just wanted to close a chapter with honesty." In the following months, the couple kept their distance from the spotlight. No brand deals, no interviews, just a few rare glimpses, shopping together in Tokyo, attending a friend's wedding in Bali, taking their dog near the river. And each time, the world smiled quietly, as if afraid to disturb something sacred. A year later, during a rare appearance at a charity gala, Hyun was asked by a journalist if he ever regretted being so open. He paused before replying, his voice calm and sure. "No," he said. "Because truth doesn't expire. You can run from noise, not from what your heart said when it was honest." The journalist pressed him again. "Do you still write letters?" He chuckled softly. "Yes," he said. "Now I give them to her." That small exchange closed a circle that had begun in silence. Months that followed, the phrase "learning to love quietly" became more than a viral quote, it became part of the culture. Young people wrote it on social media bios. It appeared on murals, wedding invitations, even the side of a cafe in Hongdae. It symbolized something simple but rare: patience, humility, forgiveness. And perhaps that was Hyunbin's real confession all along. Not an admission of guilt, a declaration of love that had survived everything: fame, rumor, distance, and pride. Late one autumn evening, a fan captured a distant photo of them walking hand in hand along the Han River. They didn't notice the camera hiding. The city lights shimmered against the water, their reflections intertwined. It was the same place where their story had once seemed to crumble. Now, it was where it quietly began again. Era of noise, where love stories are lived through headlines and forgotten by the next algorithm. Hyunbin's words remained like a pulse beneath the chaos: steady, human, real. Silence doesn't always mean the end. Learning to love quietly. They weren't just quotes anymore. They were proof that sometimes the truest confessions aren't meant to shock the world, only to remind it that love, when real, survives the storm. Rain returned to Seoul that night. The city exhaled. 2 people had weathered the noise. And somewhere, behind closed doors, their silence finally sounded like peace.